starting off first, what are we going to do? We're going to identify the preconditions needed for accepting or continuing an audit or non-audit engagement. What is accepting? Well, first off, we've just never worked with you before. We want to audit you. Let's make sure we can assess if we actually can audit this entity. Do we have enough personnel? Do we have the time? Do we have the knowledge and expertise? Do we have the independence? Also continuing. Each year, let's say after you do the first year audit, guess what? You're going to have the second year audit and third year audit as long as nothing goes wrong in those prior years. And with that being said, you need to reassess. Can we continue to audit this individual, this client? And why might that change? Well, independence situations may change, staffing may change, the requirements may change. So acceptance and continuance happens every year. A and C, some of you who work in the industry may have seen that before. We've also want to make sure that we perform procedures to obtain the agreement of management. We don't want, just like if you were entering into a construction contract for them to build up your house or for you to buy a car, you're going to sign a contract and there are particular agreements made on both sides. So in this case, we want to obtain the agreement of management that it acknowledges and understands its responsibilities for an audit or a non-audit engagement. We are not taking responsibility for a lot of things. I'll make jokes throughout the entire course that, yeah, we really want to kind of cover our butts as auditors or practitioners, making sure that management takes responsibility for the majority of what goes on with the financial statements. We're trying to reduce our liability here as accountants, and we want to make sure that it's understood. It's not your responsibility to pick out the wood and make sure that it's the proper wood to build for your house. So when you enter into an agreement with a contractor to build upgrades to your house, yes, you might pick out the wood, but it's up to them to say, yeah, that's not really going to work. That may collapse under the weight of your house. Just going on a little tangent, giving examples there. Hopefully that is helpful for you. We also want to identify the factors to consider when management requests a change in the type of engagement. So for example, what happens if we're hired, everything goes well, we're hired to do an audit, but then management says we want to go to a review. We'll actually see that there are potential issues with that, and we'll dive into that more in the lesson. We also want to perform procedures to confirm that a common understanding of the terms of an engagement exists with management and those charged with governance. Remember, those charged with governance are the board of directors. They are above management. Who hires us? It's the audit committee, which is part of the board of directors, also known as those charged with governance. And we're going to work with both parties throughout the entire course. We'll talk about when you're going to speak with management, when you're going to speak to those charged with governance, diving into those intricacies. Lastly here, we want to document the terms, and what would all this be if we didn't get it in writing? Document those terms of an audit or non-audit engagement in a written engagement letter or other suitable form of written agreement. We want to get that down in writing to make sure it's understood, documented, and no one can say we didn't agree upon all of this. All right. It has been a pleasure to walk you through the objectives. Let's dive into the material and have a great time. Hey there. Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material. We'll do it together. Tap into the power of cpa.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.